Hi, freelancing class. Dr. K here. Tonight, I want to talk to you a little bit about the relationship between our projects for this course and the goals for this course and how that's going to affect grading, which, believe it or not, is going to come up in just a couple of weeks. And then I want to conclude with a few thoughts about this week's readings. Okay, so we're about halfway through the course. And you've probably noticed, if you've looked at the syllabus, that you are juggling multiple projects with very similar deadlines. So everybody is working on your website and social media presence, which we talked about last week. We're getting ready to work on your marketing plan. And grad students, of course, you're working on a research proposal. And if you look at the due dates for these projects, you'll notice that the final versions are going to all be due on August 9th. And you may be, oh my goodness, how can we possibly get all that done by August 9th and turn all of them in at the same time? Well, it kind of had to be that way. So these projects that we're working on take time to develop, and we have a lot that we need to accomplish in these 5 weeks, and you need some time to think about it before you turn it in. So the only way I could figure out to get this to work was to give you pretty much the entire semester to work on them and then call them in as late as I possibly could. So understand, when we get to that point in the course where stuff is coming in on the 9th, there's not going to be a lot of leeway for me between when I get your project and when grades are due. So I think I'm letting you take all the way to 11:59 p.m. on Monday, August 9th, and my grades are due at noon the following Wednesday. So that gives me really just over 24 hours to get everything graded. So in order for me to give you a grade, just be aware that you'll need to get stuff in a fairly timely way toward the end. But that's why I've pushed you for these early drafts. So as you know, this past weekend, your web outline was due, which I realize is really soon to ask for it. Like, you've barely just read and looked at other people's websites, and now I'm asking you to turn in an outline. I understand that that's going to possibly change quite a bit over the next couple of weeks, and it'll even change after this course. Grad students, likewise, I'm asking for you to submit the rough draft of your research proposal this weekend, even though you've only had not quite a full week so far. You will have by the time we get to that deadline, but you won't have had a huge amount of time to put that together either. So it's going to be a draft. Obviously, you're going to have time to change it between now and the end of the semester. In fact, remember, all of you, that you're going to meet with me, required, the week of August 2nd to talk about the drafts of these projects. But I pushed you to get these two things in early, the web outline and this upcoming research proposal for the grad students, so that you could make some progress. Because I know, and you know, what would happen if we didn't do that, right? Everybody would wait until like the weekend before the draft conferences, and stuff would be in terrible shape. And then it would be a mad scramble to get it to be anything that's remotely close to the quality that you're capable of. So all I'm looking for in these in the draft that just came in and the draft that's coming up for the grad students this Monday, all I'm looking for you to do is show me that you've made progress. That way it's going to be much easier for you to put together a quality product by the end of the semester. So literally all I am grading on is, did you turn something in and show me that you made progress? And if you did, then you were in good shape. So related then to like the overall philosophy of the course, progress is really what this course is all about. Progress is our main goal. We can't possibly cover everything about the business of freelancing in depth in just 5 weeks. But what we can do is get you to be better prepared than you were before this class, which incidentally is why the class is called Preparing to Freelance and not Starting to Freelance. You're just getting ready at this stage. So in that respect, based on the Facebook conversations and the chats that we've been having during my Monday night office hours, you're already making me very proud with respect to that goal of making progress. In just these 2.5 weeks, I can already see you making huge strides and growing tremendously in your awareness of 3 things in particular. One is your awareness of how other writers, editors, trainers, designers present themselves online. Just being aware of what other people do will make you more competitive when you have to do it yourself. Second thing, I see all of you becoming much more aware of your personal strengths. That is, you know the things that you're good at, you're getting a better sense of what it is you have to offer clients, and that's going to make it easier for you to make a value proposition that will attract them. And finally, I see all of you developing awareness of the skills and the samples that you're going to need to develop to be a successful freelancer. Now, some of you have said in some of your Facebook posts that you feel this is kind of overwhelming and intimidating because you realize that you need more samples, or you need more tech experience, or you need more classes. That's actually okay at this point. So don't be down on yourself. You're doing fine. Knowing what you need to get is, again, an important part of progress. It is so much better for you to know this now than after graduation. Now you can work on building what you need to build. Now you have time to plan. Now you know what you need to do. So you take all of that wisdom and you get yourself a little bit further down the road, instead of getting surprised by a job market that isn't what you expect, or by a task that isn't as easy as you hoped. When you graduate, you're beginning to get a sense of the terrain. This sense of progress is also the philosophy that I will take into grading the final projects for the course. My goal is not, did you create perfect things in 5 weeks, but did you make reasonable progress in the time that we had? Can you show me what you've learned in the past 5 weeks? Can you tell me what you'll still need to do after this class is over? And by the way, let me just remind you that if you enjoy what we've started in this class and you want to take it further with the support of supervision, you can do an independent study related to the stuff you start in this class, whether for grad students, that's the research project that you're talking about, or whether you want to take the time to really develop your samples and your website over 16 weeks in a way that you couldn't possibly do in 5. Any one of you can sign up for an independent study. And if you're interested in that possibility, be sure and talk to me before the class ends. We can set that up really for any semester that it works for your schedule. Remember too, that some of you have an awareness that some internships would help you. So talk to me, talk to Dr. Harris, Dr. Carter, whoever your advisor in the department is, about your potential interest in internships, and let us see if we can get you hooked up with something if you know that's one of the holes you're trying to fill. Or similarly, some of you have mentioned that you wish you had taken document design before this class, or some of you might wish that you had taken writing on the web before this class. Well, okay, that's fine. I didn't expect it. It's not a prereq. But then, all right, make a note and go take those classes before you get out of here, or go into the graduate program if you're an undergraduate and take them there if you haven't done them already. Knowing where and how to get the skills that you need is half the battle. Nobody expects you to have all the skills right this very minute. That's not where we're at. All right, so change of topic. Let's talk briefly about this week's readings and how they fit into the big picture of what we're doing in this course. So obviously last week's readings were to help you prepare for the website project. And this week's readings have been chosen to help you with your marketing plan, which is what you're going to do to reach out to people and get them to hire you, instead of just sitting back and waiting for them to decide they have a need and then come look for you. So these readings this week are mostly meant to provide you with a lot of possibilities so that you can pick and choose to develop your own active marketing style. I don't expect you to memorize or actually do all of the different options that were talked about in the 3 chapters from Monday, or the 3 chapters I'm giving you for, or excuse me, the 3 chapters from Tuesday, because that was the start of the week, the 3 chapters I'm giving you for Wednesday. You don't have to memorize or do every single one of these activities to be successful. But what I do want you to do is to experiment with a variety of options. And keep these readings in your toolbox so that you can try new strategies when you need them. So by the way, if you haven't been thinking about this already, if you think these readings are something you want to come back to, make sure that you download them out of Blackboard and save them to your computer so that you can refer to them later. Now, you may find that a few in these readings that work particularly well for your time and your personality and your goals. Or you may have times when you're like, oh, I'm not getting all the work that I really need to get by. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to go back to those readings and I'm going to find a new strategy, even though it's a little out of my comfort zone, and I'm going to try that so that you can increase your chances. There are two key things that I want you to remember from all of these different strategies that we're examining. Number one is the thing that I said on the homepage yesterday, which is that this whole business of active marketing is a numbers game. You need lots of ways to contact new people until you have regular customers, because number one, lots of people are going to tell you no. It's the same thing I tell people who have taken grant writing. You know, even the most successful grant writers basically have a batting average worth of success, which means that, you know, if you're doing 3 out of every 10 clients tells you yes, you're a huge success, which we don't really expect because we think of, well, 30% is failing. No, in baseball, 30% is great. And it's the same with grant writing, and it's the same with active marketing. So to be honest, 1 to 2 yeses out of 10 is more average. So in order to do that, you're going to have to talk to a lot of people and get used to being persistent and being patient until you get that yes. And keep in mind that even when you do get a slate of regular clients, they're going to cycle in and out. So somebody is not necessarily going to have work for you on a regular schedule. They're going to be maybe very intense for a couple of weeks, and then they're going to fade away, and you're going to need a new person to come in and fill that slot. So you need to judge how much work you can take on, and then what percentage of active marketing do you need to do to make sure that you're getting in that cycle of new clients and the projects that you need to meet your financial goals. Time and persistence in this matter are your friends. We frequently are an instant gratification culture, right? Where we expect, like, we type in a keyword in Google and boom, there's our answer, and we get hired by the very first company whose job ad we see. You know, we've been kind of cultured to expect that instant success. That is not the game you're playing in freelancing. So this is a long game, and I think it was Melissa in one of her posts on Facebook this past week who said, what you're doing is you're planting seeds to get harvested later. So everything you do now is going to take some watering and some weeding and some sunshine and time before you're going to see it blossom. And you're going to be happier, and you're going to be much more realistic if you prepare yourself to have that time and patience. And then you create the combo that's right for you. What works for the person next to you is not necessarily going to work for you. So play to your unique strengths and needs. All right, so as I sign off, let me just remind you that I've set up an option for you to talk with me about your website outlines if you would like to. So these meetings that I have, I think I've scheduled them between this coming Thursday all the way through a week from Saturday. You can hop onto my Google Calendar. I've posted instructions for you in our Blackboard shell. They're on the left-hand side of the page, right underneath the syllabus. As long as you do it at least 24 in advance of hours in advance of when you want to talk to me, you can actually just hop right on there. You can see what times I have available, and you can schedule yourself for a time. It's up to you to decide whether or not you think talking to me about your outline would be helpful. Some of you may be saying, I'm not really ready to show you. I don't, don't look at that too close because I've got a lot of development to do. And you don't have questions for me because you're not far enough down the line. That's fine. I'm just going to grade the fact that you turned it in, and that's great. But on the other hand, you might have questions. So there might be specific things that you're feeling uncertain about, and you would like some feedback from me. Or at any point where you are experimenting with web technologies and you're having trouble with them, don't hesitate to make an appointment with me to get help with those kinds of things, because I'm happy to help. I have experience with almost all of the platforms that we're talking about. I do not mind doing a screen share and helping talk you through some of these things so that you can become more confident and do what you need to do for the purposes of this class, with an eye toward, of course, you're going to build those skills later on. So again, you make the call whether you'd like an appointment in the next week or so or not. If not, we will meet for sure during the week of August 2nd. That is a mandatory meeting that has points assigned to it. Okay, that's all I've got for you for today. As always, in between videos and in between office hours and whatnot, be sure to text, email, or message me with questions, and I will see you online soon. Take care, stay safe.